all staying safe and well. Bernard here with my little film and TV channel, and today we're going to have a look at a film. We're going to have a film review today, and it's an adventure fantasy drama, and it's called COWBOY. Please, if you're new to the channel, please push that subscribe button if you like what you see, and please push the notifications so you know when these vlogs are coming out. I do TV drama reviews, film reviews like this, information vlogs, quizzes, stuff like that, all on this channel, so hope you enjoy it. And if you do check the playlist, you'll also see some stuff on my football team, Manchester City, as well. I have a Citizen channel where I do city history and city present, and even quizzes on there as well. So if you or anyone you know is interested in that, please point them in my direction. I will be very grateful. And please check the links if you go on Facebook and Twitter. I do post stuff, a lot of stuff on there, and repost stuff. So if you want any followers or friends on those two channels, Facebook and Twitter, just give me a nod and I will reciprocate. I do check every 2 or 3 days and just follow back or friend back, depending, obviously, as I get the requests. Right, so let's have a look at this film today. 94 minutes, a PG rating. Directed by Brenda Chapman, this COWBOY film. She was involved with The Prince of Egypt and Brave. Yeah, I mean, two okay films. Prince of Egypt wasn't overly liked all round, but yeah, I thought Brave was quite a clever film as well. This one stars David Oyelowo, Anna Chancellor, Clark Peters, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Michael Caine, he's in this, David Gyasi, Derek Jacobi even makes an appearance, and Angelina Jolie. It's nice to see Angelina Jolie, isn't it? And it's called a homage, actually, a homage to the stories of Peter Pan and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. So an interesting synopsis, and it depicts the title characters of both those, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Peter Pan, as siblings trying to help their parents overcome the death of their eldest son. So it is an interesting premise. And if you look at sort of images and pictures from the film, and you look at the trailer, it does promise quite a lot. I mean, all the scores I'm going to give you here now are as at the 31st of December, New Year's Eve, 2020. Mid-afternoon. So these scores I'm going to quote now from the various critics, etc. Rotten Tomatoes, they reported that only got a 30% positivity rating from 64 critics. So not great, was it, for such a high expectation film? An average rating of 5.2 out of 10. So all right, not a total disaster, but a little bit below our magical 6 out of 10. And if you know Rotten Tomatoes, you get 19 fresh and 45 rotten. And some of the actual comments left on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, that it has so little new to say and replaces spirited fantasy with an overbearing glumness is just disappointing. Someone else said, as well as being glum, it does appear quite a lot, the word glum, though it's convoluted and it gains nothing of value from its Lewis Carroll, J.M. Barrie mashup. Yeah, mashup, that's a good word to use. I was really ready to be someone else wrote, I was really ready to be transported and really disappointed when I wasn't. It's a real shame because there's a lot of talent in this film, but it just doesn't work. And the actual consensus, this is an interesting consensus, because I mean most of what I've read out there I totally agree with. And the website's critics consensus reads, largely lacking the fairy tale magic it seeks to conjure. COWBOY is an initially intriguing fantasy that never really takes flight. So there you go. I mean, that's a bit negative, isn't it? The audience on Rotten Tomatoes, just 77 scores left, only getting 38%. So, you know, the critics and audience are as one on this one by the looks of it. Metacritic, the other critic site I like to look at, Cramped Samples, 17 critic reviews. And it got an average of 4 out of 10 or 40 out of 100, whichever way you want to look at, which isn't great, is it? But it did get some high scores. It scored anywhere between 4 out of 10 and 8 out of 10. Hollywood Reporter's John DeFore, he only gave it 4 out of 10 and wrote, an airless film about childhood fantasies that comes to life only fitfully. Brenda Chapman's Come Away is aimed at children, but so pickled in grown-up grief that few kids are likely to connect with it. The Seattle Times' Maura McDonald, she liked it a little bit more, 6.3 out of 10, and she said, it just feels like a pretty idea that didn't get fully developed. Yeah, I mean, again, most of these comments I totally agree with. An origin story that we didn't need. And Slash Films Ben Pearce, let's finish on let's have a positive. We've not had many positives so far, have we? Slash Films Ben Pearson, well, he really liked it. He gave it 8 out of 10. A look at this glowing report. A creative reimagining sprinkled with fairy dust. Come Away succeeds on the strength of its whimsical, but not overly whimsical, script by Marissa Kate Goodhill and its impressive ensemble cast. And soars thanks to Chapman's stellar direction. A new children's classic has arrived, and this timeless fairy tale will surely enchant audiences for generations to come. Yeah, I think Mr. Ben Pearson might have been on, I don't know, I'm not going to be disparaging, as he might have been on a backhander, but yeah, I mean, it does, there's one or two positives like that, but not very many. I'll have a pint of whatever Mr. Ben Pearson's on New Year's Eve, I think. Internet Movie Database, it's not too bad, not a total disaster again. 1,715 scores and reviews have been left, and it's averaging 5.9 out of 10, so just below the magical 6 out of 10. So that's not bad, is it? And I saw that score before I watched the film myself, and I thought, oh yeah, it might be all right, this. And as I said, I watched the trailer. I was quite impressed with the trailer. I liked the posters, I liked the artwork, and I thought, oh, this looks really good. Angelina Jolie looks superb in it. Yeah, so there you go. I did watch the film. But a couple of comments on Internet Movie Database from the users. Who was this movie made for? Alice meets Peter Pan in a fantasy story mashup that does not leave a satisfying film. Because again, they got the mashup link there. Someone else wrote, different than expected, but beautiful. Yeah, I mean, absolutely nothing wrong with it. I thought it was very beautiful to look at. I mean, but I don't want pretty pictures. I want a story as well. And someone else wrote, I really didn't understand this movie, but it was decent-ish. So there you go, very, very mixed. So my little thoughts, yeah, I mean, as I said, there is some love out there for this film. There's a few 10 out of 10s, which, you know me, I'll always disparagingly get anyone who thinks anything's perfect, and certainly this film is far from perfect. It is a bit, is on something, or obviously, as I say, connected with the film in some way. And in the same way, if things get a 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10, I mean, there's no way that this film is that bad that it should warrant a 1 out of 10 or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, the sets are superb, the cinematography is superb. It's a really good cast, even from the youngest to the oldest. There's the odd iffy actor who's not great, to be honest with you, which obviously, again, there's a lot of British actors, and as you know me, a lot of my brethren British actors, not the greatest, you know, sometimes they get the odd one in there. It's a little bit wooden, let's be honest about it, but yeah, overall there's some good actors in this. Obviously, Angelina, Jolie's, etc. What does damage this is, it is, as someone said before, it is a total mashup of stories and ideas. And you don't really bother to differentiate what's real from fantasy in this. It doesn't really matter as such that. You can look at it all as fantasy. I mean, it's a fantasy film, but obviously for the film itself, it is important to take about what's real life and what is fantasy, because it can get a little bit, the borders can get a little bit jaded. You're a bit confused as to what's what. But if you just look at it all as a fantasy, then you can play safe. I mean, I do find it such a shame that when you have all the ingredients which you do have in this film to produce a modern day family fantasy classic, which I was hoping this could have been, you can just ruin it all by trying to be far too clever with the storytelling. It goes off in all directions and all different tangents, so it sort of confuses rather than entertains. And when you sort of get back into it and you think it's going a normal route, it goes off on one again, and it totally confuses you. I mean, I think you could possibly take this film and edit it together a lot better and get a lot more sort of, again, with the film an A to Z, you know, for a start, a middle and an end out of it. You could actually do that, and preferably a rewrite could have done whoever wrote the screenplay, etc. I mean, someone did say the screenplay was excellent, but whoever wrote that, I don't know. Again, perhaps the pages got mixed up when they were actually doing it. I'm not too sure, because in all this, there is a good little story. I said the synopsis is good, the ideas are good, and I say they've got all the talent there, but sadly the actual story itself doesn't really come through that much. They sort of ruin it by sort of taking bits and bobs from different places and putting it in, and it is a mashup, and it's all over the place, unfortunately. I mean, I think most kids, most young adults and children will get a little bit bored with it, to be honest. I don't think there's one reviewer did say the children loved it, 8 and 11, thought it was superb, but I would imagine most kids will get a little bit bored from it, and most adults who you're left with will get a little bit, like I was, a little bit confused, like some of those critics and other users were. I mean, it's such a shame, as I said, such a waste of talent, both in front and behind the camera, unfortunately, in this one. So yeah, I mean, I think a 5.9 Internet Movie Database is a bit over the top. I'm not going to give it a watchable rating. I wouldn't put you off watching it, because it does have its little elements, but as I said, it's such a wasted opportunity, unfortunately. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm only going to give it a Bernard's rating of 5 out of 10, which isn't great, but it's such a shame. It's not a total disaster, but such a mishmash, confusing film. And I wish I could have got hold of the script and perhaps tweaked it a little bit and put it in some sort of normal sequence of events rather than what we got, unfortunately. Yeah, the posters. Yeah, the posters are nice. That's a brilliant. I love the poster. It's a nice poster, nice simple poster, especially one with sort of an image of Angelina Jolie there. She does look like the Queen of Hearts, doesn't she? Obviously, I'm not giving too much away by saying she does sort of have that role in this very briefly. As I said, it's all higgledy-piggledy all over the place, but yeah, I mean, it's a nice poster. That, I mean, I would have that poster on the wall, and that's sadly it's far better than the film, so I'm going to give the poster 6.5 out of 10. I think that's a nice poster, that, and it's nice to go in a bedroom. So if your kids did like this film, for instance, then it'd be lovely to have the poster as well. So the poster wins today. As far as what's better, the poster or the film, well, the poster is far better in my opinion. 6.5 for the poster, 5 out of 10 for the film. Anyway, let me know what you think if you do get to watch this, or you've already watched it and you agree with me. As I say, I'm not averse to the people who did enjoy it, but I felt a little bit let down. I was expecting too much from him. I don't know, but sometimes when you see a film and you see the trailers and you look at the posters and you look at the promotion, and you think you're going to see something. All right. I was tempered a little bit by some of the low scores, but I did think it would be a little bit better than what we got, unfortunately. Anyway, thanks for watching today. What we're going to do the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other until we meet again here on my little film and TV channel, or perhaps you flit over to my football channel, my Citizen channel. But until we meet again, all I can ever ask is please stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.